Hello, 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 and welcome to STI BBI. I'll explain what that is. Literacy with me, Christy Abel. It is a great honor that I present this information on behalf of Rethink Sex Education. But before we begin, I would like to recognize and appreciate that I am an invited guest in the traditional territory of the Tsawwassen and Musqueam First Nations. I have the privilege to work, learn, play, and live in this beautiful place, and I'm committed to being a steward of this land. I express gratitude to the Coast Salish community and all Himalayan, oh no, I did it. Himalayan, I'm so sorry, speaking people, and offer my respect to all of the elders who've gone before us and First Nations people who are with us today. I encourage you to do the same wherever you may be. Heichka, and I apologize for mispronouncing Himalayan. Okay, thank you. Okay, let's talk. What's the plan? All right, so we're going to cover what are STD, STI, STI, BBIs. I'm going to be using the word STI, but it's important that we kind of demystify what they are and why we say they're all the same thing. Okay, then I'll do an overview of curable STIs, an overview of incurable STIs, what it looks like when you get tested. How do we overcome stigma? We'll then go through some key facts and statistics, and then I will share a few videos on safer sex practices. Okay, so I think we're going to be here for about 40 minutes, okay, 30 to 40 minutes. Some of the videos and content might make you feel awkward, okay, and that's totally okay. If you find any of it triggering, it's really, really important that you speak with a trusted adult, okay? If you think you might have contracted an STI, it is essential that you get you see a medical professional to get tested, and then if you're positive, get treated. We will talk a little bit more about talking to partners and whatnot a little bit later, but just know that this is something that you really, really need if you before you get sexually active, as well as when you are sexually active, because STIs do not care how old you are, okay? They do not care what race you are, what gender you are, what your sexual orientation is, okay? These are for everybody who is sexually active, all right? So it's important that we don't pigeonhole their effect. Okay, so first of all, okay, so this is a video out of the USA, and so they use the word STD a lot. Okay, so back when I was in school, they were called STDs, and this is very misleading, and actually it really, really contributes to the stigma, which is the fear of stigma is like a fear of being judged, okay? So there's stigma around mental health, there's stigma around anyways, there's stigma all over the place. All right, so in Canada, we decided to move towards STI. So because many of these are the equivalent of like getting an eye infection or an ear infection, or like you get a cut and it gets infected and you just need some antibiotics, right? And it takes care of it. That's not a disease, that's an infection. All right, now what about this BBI part? It is not it makes me think of BB-8, right? No. Okay, a BBI means blood-borne illness. So STI BBI stands for sexually transmitted infection and blood-borne illnesses. However, that's quite a mouthful, so we're just going to go with STIs. Blood-borne illnesses would be the incurable. So we're looking at HIV as well as herpes, etc. Okay, so let's first of all watch a short video on what they are.
Oh, don't worry, you can't get infected. It's only my allergies. Sexually transmitted diseases, or STDs, are diseases, infections, or illnesses that can be spread from a person with an STD to another through sexual contact. That includes genital-to-genital contact, which is contact with penises, scrotums, vulvas, or vaginas, to any kind of sex, oral, anal, or vaginal sex. Some STDs are fairly common, so there's nothing to be embarrassed about if you ever get one. Some STDs do not cause any symptoms, so many people who have an STD do not know it and might spread it. For those who do have symptoms, they may experience soreness or swelling around the genitals, bumps, sores, or rashes on the genitals, itching, burning, or pain while urinating, and girls may get a vaginal discharge that is different from normal. If you have any of these symptoms, or if you've had unprotected sex, it's important to get tested for STDs. STD tests differ. Some are blood tests, some test urine, and still others use a swab of saliva or a discharge. Even if you use protection, it's a good idea to get tested for STDs at least once a year. You can get an STD test from your healthcare provider or at a family planning or STD clinic. Some STDs can be cured while others cannot, but their symptoms can be managed with medication. Some STDs, if left untreated, can cause serious health problems later in life. So remember, once a person becomes sexually active, it is important to use condoms and other latex barriers and to get tested for STDs regularly. Tissue for your allergies?
Okay. Okay, let's do now an overview of curable sexually transmitted infections. And we've got our little microorganisms over on the right. These are indeed photos of the actual STIs, right? If I really wanted to scare you, I would have put, I remember when I was originally researching this, I went to the images and put in, like gonorrhea or whatever, and then, okay, so I'm not going to do that to you. I don't even suggest that you do it, but that is some scare tactics. I will tell you what, because the internet, it's not known for its subtlety, right? Okay, so let's start with gonorrhea. Okay, so how it is spread. You're going to see a big pattern here in how it's spread, okay, through unprotected oral, anal, or vaginal sex, and infected mothers can infect their babies during birth. Okay, so most people will have no symptoms with gonorrhea, but if they do have symptoms, it would be unusual discharge from the vagina, penis, or anus, eye discharge, which is interesting, a burning sensation when peeing. All right, overarching. And I'll say this at the end again, if it burns when you pee, you need to go to the doctor, okay? It should not, okay? There's something going on down there. It might be an STI, it might be something else. However, if it hurts when you pee, go see the doctor, okay? You could also get a sore throat and swollen glands, right? So we've got glands kind of all over our bodies. There's one here, there's some under your armpits, all right? So if these are tender and sore, you might get lower or stomach or lower back pain in people born female or with a vulva and vagina, and experience pain during sex, and then in painful or itchy testicles. Okay, good news. It's curable with antibiotic. The test is either you pee in a cup or you can have a swab done. Now, if there is no treatment, okay, so this can lead to infertility, which means you're not able to make your own babies, pain, and a lot of STIs will increase your risk of getting other STIs. And this is one of those, particularly HIV, okay, which is not curable. All right, here is chlamydia.
This is chlamydia trachomatis. Chlamydia generally likes to enter cells, hang out in bodily fluids, and often shows up when least expected. For one tiny bacteria, chlamydia really gets around. There have been over 3,800 cases in Ottawa in the past year alone, and those are the ones we know about. Chlamydia enjoys traveling through contact with bodily fluids during unprotected oral, vaginal, or anal sex. This type of sneaky bacteria can hide in the human body without showing any symptoms. If chlamydia does decide to show itself, it could be anywhere between 2 to 6 weeks after contact. Symptoms can include discharge coming from your genitals, burning when you pee, stomach pain or pain during sex, abnormal bleeding. Because there can be a lack of symptoms, the only way to know if you have chlamydia is to get tested. The best way to test for chlamydia is through a urine sample or for a health professional to take a swab of your throat, vagina, penis, or rectum. It is important to get tested. If left untreated, chlamydia can cause pelvic inflammatory disease, an infection in the fallopian tubes, uterus, and ovaries, infertility, ectopic pregnancy, a pregnancy in the fallopian tubes, infection in the testicles. Chlamydia hates being detected because once we know it's there, it's simple to treat with antibiotics. Protect yourself by following these 3 simple rules. No sex for 7 days after treatment. Make sure your partner is also tested and treated. Use protection. You can get chlamydia again, even if you've already been treated. So remember, if you want to prevent chlamydia from becoming your next travel companion, use condoms and get tested regularly. Following these easy steps will keep you and your partners safe.
All right. Thank you, Ottawa Public Health, for that. That's not working. All right. Syphilis. All right. Now, syphilis had all but disappeared, but now it's back. All right. It is back. And it is, to me, I don't know, maybe the most extreme of the curables. Okay. So again, it's spread through unprotected oral, anal, or vaginal sex, and infected mothers can infect their baby. Right. So syphilis is different in that it has 3 different stages. In stage 1, these painless open sores start to appear, and then there are swollen glands, right? Remember, I was talking about that. Okay. Stage 2 is flu-like symptoms where a person might get a fever or muscle pain, but then we have body rash, hair loss, including your eyelashes and eyebrows. And then it can also, there's this other, like a lung condition called meningitis, okay, where that can come into play as well. And then in stage 3, people start to have mental health issues. Then they do damage, and then major damage to eyes, ears, and the heart. And this happens to approximately 40% of untreated people. Right now, treatment is simple. It is curable with antibiotics, okay? And it's a blood test. So this one they do have to draw blood for. But the risks of no treatment are very extreme, okay? Blindness, brain damage, heart damage, and death. And babies born to infected mothers can be really sick or die. So again, for a long time, it laid low, but especially in Canada right now, there is a resurgence of syphilis happening. So again, it's very, very important to get tested, and if you're positive, get treated. Okay, and then we have the parasites, our little critters. And you can kind of see on the right where they get their names from. Okay, so the first one is trichomoniasis, and this is very, very common. It is one of the top 4 STIs that are curable and around the globe. Okay, it's spread through, guess what? Unprotected oral, vaginal, or anal sex. Symptoms are unusual discharge from the vagina or penis, itchiness, and a burning sensation when peeing. Risks of no treatment, infertility, and chronic pain. All right, next one, scabies. Okay, scabies is spread by close contact with an infected person. So you could get this actually from not having sex, right? Or if you were just like naked with a person, right? Symptoms are itchy skin, especially between the fingers. Okay, so what scabies does is it lays its eggs in your skin, and that's what causes the itchiness and the pain, right? And it's actually like the treatment is like a skin cream that you put all over your body. You have to make sure you sleep in bed with the cream on, because guess what? It lives in your sheets too. Okay, and then you have to make sure that obviously that everything gets sterilized. Okay, so if there's no treatment, constant scratching can cause other infections. And lastly, with our parasites, we have pubic lice, also known as crabs. If we take a look on the right, it does kind of look like a horseshoe crab. Okay, again, close contact with an infected person. Now, pubic lice is similar to head lice. Okay, they're like cousins, except these ones live in pubic hair. Okay, so itchy red skin, oval-shaped eggs in pubic hair. And if a person sees tiny black dots in their underwear, that's lice poop. Okay, so again, it's also usually a cream, okay, and constant scratching can cause other infections, but it's going to be really, really uncomfortable, right? So again, if you're having any concerns with your genitalia, it's really important. Don't ignore it, okay? Please do not ignore it, and see your doctor before becoming sexually active with anybody else. Okay, now we have the incurable. Okay, so these are ones that once you contract them, you have them for life. I'm going to start with HIV.
Sure, I'll download this program from an unknown source. It's free. Gosh, what's going on? My laptop is frozen. Antivirus is down. Good.
Hello and welcome to the greatest game show on television, True or False, with your host, Dr. Hill. Good evening, everybody. Today's subject is HIV. HIV stands for Human Immunodeficiency Virus. It is the virus that can lead to the development of the disease AIDS. HIV attacks the body's immune system. Untreated, HIV reduces the number of T cells in the body. T cells are what help your body to fight disease, and HIV can destroy so many of them that the body becomes vulnerable. Infections and other kinds of illnesses can take advantage of a very weak immune system. And now, to our contender, Christy. We will give her statements about HIV, and Christy will have to choose whether they are true or false. Are you ready, Christy? Here is your first statement. You can tell by looking at someone whether they have HIV. You are... The only way to know if a person has HIV is to get an HIV test. Second statement. You can get HIV through casual contact or being near someone with HIV. You are wrong. Oh, HIV can only be spread through bodily fluids. It can be transmitted through sex, by sharing a drug needle, or being breastfed by someone who has HIV. If a pregnant woman is living with HIV and doesn't get the proper treatment before giving birth, her baby could be born with HIV. You cannot get HIV from sharing a glass, hugging, or sharing a bathroom with someone who has HIV. Okay, and now for the final round. The quick round. Here is your statement. This product can prevent a person from getting HIV. Condoms, birth control pills, a medicine called PrEP. You got them all right. When you have sex, condoms can help provide protection. And for people at high risk for HIV, a doctor can now prescribe a medication called PrEP that can be taken to lower their risk. And we have a winner. Tell her what she won. You win an HIV home testing kit. And for all you back home, remember, once you begin to have sex, it's important that both you and your partner get tested for sexually transmitted diseases and HIV on a regular basis. Good night, everybody, and we'll see you next time on True or False. That's it. It's fixed. Don't forget to use protection next time.
Womp womp. It's not working.
Sure.
It is what it is. Okay, so we did a brief thing about HIV. Now moving on to genital herpes. Okay, so how it is spread through unprotected, you guessed it, again, oral, anal, or vaginal sex, and mamas to the babies during birth. Now, 20%, 1 in 5 adults has genital herpes already, and it is caused by the herpes simplex virus. So with symptoms, they usually appear about 2 to 21 days after sexual contact with an infected person and are usually the worst in the first outbreak. Okay, so some of the symptoms would be blisters, which are small fluid-filled sores in and around the genital area, burning sensation when peeing, itchiness, and large tender glands. Okay, recurring outbreaks. Now, like, There's a lot of things that can cause recurring outbreaks, emotional or physical stress, exposure to sunlight sometimes, hormonal changes. So if you are a person with a vulva vagina and you have a cycle, right, that can affect it. Poor nutrition, sometimes just having sexual intercourse, lack of sleep, low immune system. So you can see that there's a lot of things that it can cause a recurring outbreak. Your test is a swab or the blood test. Now, there is no cure, okay? The virus is going to stay in the body forever. However, symptoms can be managed with medication and lifestyle. And again, this is a really common thing with at least about 20%, 1 in 5 people having it, adults. Now, if no treatment, okay, brain damage and blindness in babies born to infected mothers, and it also increases your risk to get other STI, BBIs if exposed to them, particularly HIV. Okay, now we have hepatitis B. Okay, so it is spread the same way as the other ones, okay? And it is an estimated that 2 billion people in the world have been exposed to hepatitis B. All right, so it develops between 45 and 160 days after exposure. First hints are flu-like, fever, tired body ache, stomach pain, nausea, and jaundice, which is a yellowing of the skin. It's a blood test, and there is no cure, but it can be prevented with a vaccine. Especially if you're planning on traveling to other countries, it's really important that I think there are vaccines for hepatitis A, B, and C. It's really important that you get those boosted if you would like protection from hepatitis while you're traveling, but also, and also for being sexually active. So chronic infection with Hep B can lead to liver inflammation, cirrhosis, cancer, jaundice, and even death. And this virus is very infectious. It can survive outside the body, like on a table, right, or on this computer or whatever, okay, for at least 7 days. So again, we want to use our hand washing, frequent, try not to touch your face with your hands and stuff. I will do a hygiene and healthy relationships I will do a hygiene and healthy relationships one and our presentation, and over that I'll cover that kind of stuff too. All right, and HPV, okay, it's spread same way, okay. Now, approximately 80% of unvaccinated people will have HPV at some point in their lives, and it does phase out, okay. So there are over 100 different types. Genital warts are the main ones that would show up in your genital area. They're cauliflower-like bumps that might appear weeks or months later, and lots of people will have no symptoms, right? So it's a visual exam, like seeing the cauliflower-like bumps, or a Pap test, which is a regular screening that anybody who has a vulva or vagina should be having at least once a year while they are sexually active, and then later on about every 3 years. It just depends on what your health authority recommends. Again, there's no cure. Symptoms can be managed with medication. Most genital warts will go away on their own, and there are vaccines. Now, here in BC, in grade 9, students are offered the Gardasil, I think, or Cervarix, that will help prevent most types of HPV. Of course, getting vaccinated or not is a personal decision. This is just what is available. Risks if no treatment: distress can increases your risks to STI, BBIs, and cancer. Okay, so that is a overview of the curable and incurable STIs. Now we're going to move on to what to expect with getting tested, and then moving on to stigma and some facts, and then safer sex practices.
Hey guys, I'm going to talk about this new bot. It's called Ask Roo. It's super awesome. Check this out. How do I tell someone that I like him? Boom. Okay, next question. What is an STD? Oh my gosh. See, look, this knows everything. Okay. I got a good one. Is the sale at the mall still on? Okay. So maybe it doesn't know everything. Once you start having sex, it's important to get tested for STDs at least once a year. even if you don't have any symptoms. And if you do have symptoms, it's important to get tested as soon as possible. Don't assume you'll be tested at your annual checkup. You may need to ask your healthcare provider to test you for STDs. STD testing is quick, easy, and it usually doesn't hurt. There are different kinds of tests, depending on which STD you and your healthcare provider are testing for. A urine test, where you pee into a cup. A cheek swab, where you rub the inside of your cheek with a soft swab to test for HIV. A blood test, where your healthcare provider takes blood from your arm or a quick finger prick. And lastly, a physical exam. Your doctor examines your genitals to check for symptoms such as warts, sores, or rashes. You may learn your test results right away. In many clinics, you can get results from an HIV test in about 20 minutes. But some STD tests take a few days or weeks to come back from a lab. If you find that you do have an STD, don't freak out. Most are easily cured with medicine. And for those STDs that can't be cured, your healthcare provider will offer treatment to control the symptoms. Having an STD is nothing to feel ashamed of. STDs are very common. Most people get an STD at least once in their lives. Just remember, it's important to tell anyone you've had sex with about your STD so they too can get tested.
Yes, it's very, very important to have that conversation. Again, we need to move past the awkwardness and think about like what we're doing to help other people, right? Okay, and not lastly, moving on to STI and STD stigma, which is the thing that stops people from getting tested.
Hey, Fishy, you remember that guy's name, right? You know, the tall one, the one who used to date Amy? Come on, I told you about him the other day. What was his name? Why do I bother? Everybody knows fish have short-term memory. STD stigma is when a person with an STD is judged or shamed by others, even though the judgment likely stems from false information. There are many stereotypes about what it takes to get a sexually transmitted disease, like you have sex with a lot of people, you are dirty, or you never use protection. None of them are based in fact, however. Unfortunately, stigma about STDs can be really damaging since it can cause people to feel embarrassed or ashamed about themselves. This embarrassment might in turn cause them to not get tested for STDs, which means the infection could get worse and cause more damage. STD stigma might also cause someone to not be honest with their partner about past partners or STDs they may have. They may worry that if they told the truth, the new partner might judge them. This is why it's important for people to be educated about the facts about STDs. STDs are incredibly common, and almost everyone who has sex will get an STD at some point in their life. Most STDs don't cause any symptoms, so people often become infected without knowing it. You can get an STD the first time you have sex with someone, and even if you use protection perfectly, since condoms don't cover all parts of the genital area. So the next time you hear of someone with an STD, don't judge. STDs are common, and if you are having sex, don't forget to ask your healthcare provider to test you for STDs.
Here we go. All right. Why am I usually
Hey,
if I
Fish.
click forward, it's not a problem, but here we are. All right, so here's some key stats and statistics. So these are from 2014, so they should be coming out with a whole bunch more in 2024. That is my best estimation. Okay, so this is worldwide. All right, so the World Health Organization is an incredibly valuable and valid, reliable resource. Okay, more than 1 million people a day get an STI. Okay, every single day, there are 1 million new people who acquire an STI. Every year, an estimated 500 million people become ill with one of these 4 curable ones, okay, chlamydia, gonorrhea, syphilis, and trichomoniasis. More than 530 million people have the virus that causes genital herpes, right? More than 290 million women have HPV infection. Some STIs could increase the risk of HIV acquisition 3-fold, which means 3 times more likely to get HIV if you have an STI already. And there's this drug resistance issue now where, especially for gonorrhea, which basically means like there are certain, oh gosh, I want to say types, right? Like variants. Yes, thank you. Okay, there are some variants of gonorrhea that are drug resistant, okay, which means that they're not so curable anymore. And so this is a major threat in reducing the impact of STIs worldwide. Okay, so here are some STI rates in the United States. Okay, so it is estimated that 1 in 5 people in the US currently have an STI, totaling nearly 68 million people as of 2018. There were 26 million new STIs in 2018, and half of them, and this is a stat that is all, I've seen it in so many different places. And so basically we can assume that half of the people between 15 and 24, half of them are going to contract an STI within that time frame. Okay, so, and then of course there's this, how much it's costing, like the healthcare system and stuff over there, $16 billion in direct medical costs just for the new ones in 2018 in the United States. Okay, in Canada is a little bit small. Okay, so, but we've got chlamydia, right? So chlamydia is by far the, it is the most popular. I don't say popular. It's the most common. Okay, chlamydia is the most common. It takes up about 50% of all STI cases are chlamydia. And then we have gonorrhea. You can see this upscale thing. And then syphilis. Take a look at how low it is there on the bottom, and then a big jump. Okay, big jump. I think that's in 2016. It's just really hard to see. And then you can kind of see where things are distributed across Canada. Okay, and then worldwide. Okay, so we've got 126 million cases in North and South America, 47 million in Europe, 93 million Africa. Anyways, you get the idea. It's a lot, and it's everywhere except maybe Antarctica. But it's also, there's people there, so probably it is very possible. Okay, so we just can't ignore this anymore, right? Like, this is all about awareness. All right, and now moving on to, we have 3 videos left, and they are about safer sex practices. The first thing we'll look at is dental dams. All right, so this is a thin, flexible piece of latex that protects against direct mouth to genital, mouth to anus contact during oral sex. Okay, so dental dams are for oral sex, dentist, dental, oral. Okay, how it works, basically, it's this, we see this sheet kind of thing, right? It's held over the genital area during oral sex, so there's no direct contact between the 2 people, right? It lessens the chance greatly of contracting and spreading most STIs. They are ready to use, or you can make one out of a condom. The video I show you will show you how to do that. Dental dams are typically a little more expensive than condoms. They're typically $1 to $2. It just kind of depends where you're getting them, right? Some family planning or sexual health clinics will stock them and offer them for free. So there are many of these youth-focused ones, like in Canada we have, or in BC anyways, we have options for sexual health. And in the States, there's Planned Parenthood. And there is hopefully something in the country that you are watching this from. Okay, so you can always go and check there if money is an issue.
This is a dental dam demonstration. A dental dam is a piece of material that lowers the risk of STIs during oral sex on a vulva or anus by providing a barrier between one partner's vulva or anus and the other partner's mouth. It can be quick and easy to make a dental dam. You will need 1 condom and 1 pair of scissors. If someone is allergic to latex, they can use a latex-free condom. Any condom that says it protects against pregnancy, STIs, and HIV is made out of a material that works. Before using a condom, there are 2 things to check. The first is the expiry date. Condoms break down over time. Check the expiry date printed on the condom package or on the box. This one has not expired yet, so it would be good to use today. The second thing to check is that the package does not have any holes and that it looks like it's in good condition. To do this, squeeze the package and make sure to feel for a pocket of air, like a bag of chips. That shows there are no holes in the condom package. Now is a good time for a reminder. Condoms need careful storage. They are sensitive to heat, cold, folding, sunlight, and rubbing. I am now ready to open the condom package. To open a condom, push the condom over to one side and then rip down the other side of the package. Be careful. Fingernails and jewelry can damage condoms. Never use teeth or scissors to open a condom package. While the condom is still rolled up, cut the tip of the condom off. Keep the condom rolled up and put the scissors through the middle and cut through one side of the ring. Unroll the condom. You now have a rectangular piece of material to be spread out over a vulva or anus and act as a barrier. Place the dental dam over the vulva or anus. Lubricant can help the dental dam to stick to the skin so it stays in place. You can also hold it in place. It's important each partner only touches their own side of the dental dam. This way, each partner's skin and body fluids do not touch the other person's. After sex, carefully fold the dental dam up, only touching your own side. Throw it in the garbage, not in the toilet, because it can clog your toilet or wreck your septic system. Use dental dams one at a time and use a new dam each time you have sex. If you switch sexual activities, like going from oral sex on an anus to oral sex on a vulva, use a new dam. Remember, safer sex is all about protection, consent, and communication.
All right, these are from Alberta Health Services, and they're very good. All right. I don't know why that's not working, but whatever, it's all good. Okay, again, condoms. All right, so what are they? A condom is a thin fitted tube worn over the penis during sexual activity, which we'll call male condoms, or inserted into the vagina before sexual activity, which we will call female condoms. I do not like the gender binary language, but I want to keep them separate. Okay, so how they work, they provide a physical barrier that keeps the mouth, vagina, anus, sperm free. The effectiveness is 85 to 98%. So if you are, so 85% ain't that great, right? Like if I told you that like for every 10 times you had sex, one time you might get an STI. This is why it's safer sex, right? We want to, but up to 98, right? Like that's pretty good. And when I go over lube next, that can really, really help with reducing condom breakage and whatnot. Remember, you only ever use one at a time. You do not use both together. You do not double up in any way, shape, or form. You are to use one condom at a time. Now, the convenience is that it may reduce spontaneity if you have to go digging for one. So be prepared, okay? Be prepared. Have everything ready so that you know that you're going to be practicing safer sex. So some of the side effects. Now, it's funny when I present this to young people, I'm like, okay, because most younger when we don't, this decreased sensitivity is typically over 40, and some people will have latex issues. So that in that case, they can just get polyurethane or silicone coated condoms, right? So do not, regardless of your gender, sometime in your sexual life, and it may have already happened, okay, someone will say, I don't like wearing condoms. Okay. Now, if you come across this person and you decide to have unprotected sex with them, you better make yourself an appointment to get an STI test, okay? Because the odds of that person having said that to somebody else are extremely, extremely high. Know that you are in charge of your body. This is called body autonomy, okay? You are in charge of it. So given the option of sex with a condom or no sex at all, most people will choose the sex with the condom. And the person who chooses no sex at all should get an STI test, okay? Because this is how STIs spread, okay? Is by not using a barrier method. Okay, price tags. Now price is gonna range from like 25 cents each all the way to a couple bucks. It depends on where you're getting them. Are you getting them at Costco, or are you buying a single one at the gas station or something, right? So the more that you buy in bulk, the cheaper it'll be. It's the Costco way, right? Or wherever, right? But definitely you'll want to just make sure that you have one or two. Okay, we always want to use water-based lubricant with condoms. It reduces their chance of breakage and it makes everybody's experience more comfortable. And it can be bought in the same section of the store as condoms. It's usually right next door. Wait, there was something else. Am I going to talk about lube? Oh, I'm not talking about lube. I do want to talk about lube. Okay, so there are, I will go into lube more in the pregnancy literacy presentation that I do. Okay, so lube works in a couple of different ways, right? So first of all, it reduces the friction. Okay, so it's friction that causes a condom to break. So if we have a little bit of lube on the inside of the condom, so like directly on the penis, then the condom goes on, and then over top of the penis, it will create more lubrication, right? And less chance of condom breakage. And it will also make it a more comfortable experience. And it will increase sensitivity on the inside of the condom. So we don't have to worry about I can't feel anything if I don't wear a condom. Do not fall for this, okay? Like ever. It's total, let's say poppycock. Anyways, moving on. Okay, so we have 2 more videos and then we are done.
This is a condom demonstration. People use condoms to lower the risk of STIs and pregnancy. It is important to put a condom on before you have any sexual contact. This type of condom can be used for any type of sex with a penis. There are lots of different condoms to choose from. If someone is allergic to latex, they can use a latex-free condom. Any condom that says it protects against pregnancy, STIs, and HIV is made out of a material that works. Before using a condom, there are 2 things to check. The first is the expiry date. Condoms break down over time. Check the expiry date printed on the condom package or on the box. This one has not expired yet, so it would be good to use today. The second thing to check is that the package does not have any holes and that it looks like it's in good condition. To do this, squeeze the package and make sure you feel for a pocket of air, like a bag of chips. That shows there are no holes in the package. Now is a good time for a reminder. Condoms need careful storage. They are sensitive to heat, cold, folding, sunlight, and rubbing. I am now ready to open the condom package. To open a condom, push the condom over to one side and then rip down the other side of the package. Be careful. Fingernails and jewelry can damage condoms. Never use teeth or scissors to open a condom package. Condoms sometimes come with lubricant already on them, and you can add more water-based or silicone-based lubricant if you want. Anything with oil in it will break a condom, such as body lotion. When you look at a condom, you can see that the tip can be pushed through either way, but there is a right way and a wrong way to put on a condom. When you look carefully at a rolled-up condom, you can see a crease where the condom is rolled up on itself. If the condom is on the penis correctly, you will see the crease folding in and around the tip. An easy way to remember which way the condom should go on the penis is that it looks something like a sombrero. I'm going to use my fingers to simulate a penis. As I place the condom on the end of the erect penis, I'm going to pinch the tip. The tip of the condom gives space for semen, or some people call it cum. It's important that there is space at the tip of the condom, otherwise the condom could break. Squeezing air out of the tip is what makes room for the ejaculated semen. I keep it pinched and roll the condom down. With a real penis, I would use 2 hands to pinch and roll, all the way down to the base of the penis. Now the condom is on the penis correctly and you are ready for sexual activity. After ejaculation, while the penis is still hard, hold on to the base of the condom and pull out from the body. Then carefully remove the condom and tie it in a knot. Throw the condom in the garbage, not in the toilet, because it can clog your toilet or wreck your septic system. Use condoms one at a time and use a new condom each time you have sex or switch sexual activities, like going from anal sex to vaginal sex. Practicing safer sex is all about protection, consent, and communication.
All right, and last but not least, we have the vaginal condom.
This is a vaginal condom demonstration. People use vaginal condoms to lower the risk of STIs and pregnancy. It is important to put a vaginal condom in before you have any sexual contact. This type of condom can be used for vaginal sex. If someone is allergic to latex, they can still safely use a vaginal condom. You can put it in up to 8 hours before sex. Before using a vaginal condom, there are 2 things to check. The first is the expiry date. Condoms break down over time. Check for the expiry date printed on the package or on the box. Usually, the vaginal condom's expiry date is found in the fold on the side of the package. This one has not expired yet, so it would be okay to use today. The second thing to check is that the package does not have any holes and that it looks like it's in good condition. Now is a good time for a reminder. Vaginal condoms should be stored at room temperature. I'm now ready to open the condom package. To open a condom, push the condom over to one side and then rip down the other side of the package. Be careful. Fingernails and jewelry can damage condoms. Never use teeth or scissors to open a condom package. Vaginal condoms come with lubricant already on them, and you can add more water-based or silicone-based lubricant to the inside or outside of the condom if you want. Take the condom out of the package and unfold it. The vaginal condom has two soft, flexible rings, an inner ring and an outer ring. The inner ring is used to help insert the condom into the vagina and keep it in place. The outer ring stays outside the body and covers part of the vulva. I'm going to use my hand to simulate a vulva and vagina. First, find a comfortable position to put the condom in, like lying down, squatting, or standing with one foot up on a chair. To insert the condom, squeeze the inner ring between your fingers into a bow shape. Some people twist the ring to get a better grip. With your finger, push the inner ring and condom into the vagina as far as it will go. The walls of the vagina will hold the ring in place. The outer ring stays outside the body and covers part of the vulva. This gives extra STI protection because it provides a barrier for less skin-to-skin contact. After sex, take the condom out before you stand up. Twist the outer ring of the condom before you remove it to make sure that nothing spills. Gently pull to remove the condom. You can insert your finger to remove the inner ring. After removing the condom, throw the condom in the garbage, not in the toilet, because it can clog your toilet or wreck your septic system. Use condoms one at a time and use a new condom each time you have sex. Never use a vaginal condom with any other condoms as it increases the risk of both breaking. Remember, safer sex is all about protection, consent, and
communication. There we go. Okay, that wraps it up. This is le fin, the end, right? Again, it has been an honor to share this information with you. I hope it's been helpful. I hope you have a greater understanding and awareness as to how to protect yourself, work towards protecting yourself against